Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Paul Sinha, who is known for his appearance on ITV's The Chase, has shared details of his private health struggle as he discussed having a heart attack on Good Morning Britain. Paul Sinha chats about working after having 2 heart attacks. The Chase icon Paul Sinha recently shared details of the worst week of my life as he opened up on his recent health battles. The 54-year-old TV quizzer appeared on the latest installment of Good Morning Britain to discuss his career highlights and his book. While talking to presenters Charlotte Hawkins and Richard Madeley, they also touched upon Paul's Parkinson's diagnosis, as well as his private health struggle. Last year, Paul suffered 2 heart attacks while appearing at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in August 2023. At the time, only people in his close network knew about his ordeal. Asking about his health, Charlotte said, "That's not your only health battle, is it? I know you had to stop your performances at Edinburgh Fringe because of a heart attack, didn't you? You've now had a heart bypass. How are you?" Sharing further details, Paul said, "It's a busy 12 months. It's been fine. But I had the worst week of my life in December being in hospital for a bypass operation. It was an extraordinarily dramatic week for me." He later added, "You've got to keep fighting, keep battling. You don't have any other options, really. People often call you brave. I'm not brave. I'm just pragmatic, positive, and try to keep going and keep going forward." Talking about his medication, Paul said, "The medication is very important to do what your doctor tells you. Take it regularly." The star added that taking part in The Chase and participating in his stand-up comedy shows has also helped him on his road to recovery. Paul recently spoke to The Telegraph about his diagnosis and admitted that he should have taken a break. He said, "I should have taken a massive break, but I continued to gig. The reason I want to share my story is that I truly think performers need to think more about taking better and more holistic self-care of themselves." Despite his health battles, Paul is still booked and busy and is determined to keep active. He added, "I don't feel that I've completely recovered. Nonetheless, I have a very full diary indeed." The decision regarding Edinburgh relies on so many factors, of which cardiac health is just one. "Whatever happens, I will only return with a show that I'm proud of." There are moments when even the sharpest minds are forced to slow down, and for Paul Sinha, the brilliant quizzer known affectionately as the Sinnerman on ITV's The Chase, that moment came during what he describes as the worst week of my life. Paul has long been admired not only for his quick-fire intellect, but also for his warmth, wit, and resilience. Fans have watched him tackle contestants with clinical precision, but few could have imagined the personal battle he would face off-screen. It began with a small, almost dismissible sign. Paul thought it was nothing more than fatigue, the kind that comes from juggling comedy gigs, television appearances, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge. But within days, that tiredness transformed into something altogether more frightening. Sudden dizziness, weakness, and a terrifying inability to focus his usually razor-sharp mind. "It hit me like a storm," Paul later confessed, his voice tinged with vulnerability. "One moment I was writing jokes for a gig, the next I was struggling just to stay upright. I'd never felt so powerless." For a man whose life has been defined by control, over facts, over stage presence, over the high-pressure chase, this sudden fragility was crushing. As doctors ran test after test, Paul was left in a limbo of uncertainty. His family, friends, and colleagues rallied around him, but even their comfort couldn't silence the questions running through his mind. Would I recover? Would I still be able to perform? Would I ever be the same again? He described that week as a blur of hospital corridors, whispered conversations, and long nights of fear. "I'm not ashamed to say I cried," he admitted. "I'm used to being the one with answers. For the first time, I had none." But Paul's story is not one of defeat. It is one of determination. The tests eventually gave clarity. His health scare, while serious, could be managed with proper care and treatment. The relief was overwhelming. Slowly, step by step, he began the journey back to strength, leaning on the humor that has always been his greatest armor. "Comedy saved me," he said. "Even in hospital, I forced myself to find something funny each day, no matter how small. Laughter reminded me I was still me." When Paul returned to the chase, fans noticed the difference. There was a new depth in his smile, a quiet gratitude in the way he approached every question and every contestant. He didn't try to hide what he had endured. Instead, he chose to share his story openly, hoping to inspire others facing their own battles. "I call it the worst week of my life," Paul reflected, "but in some ways, it was also the most important. It taught me how fragile we all are and how strong we can be when it matters most." For millions who tune in to see the Sinnerman in action, Paul is no longer just the formidable quiz genius. He is a symbol of resilience, a man who stared down his fears and came back stronger.